Hello Thousanders, Adam Zern and Linda Zern here once again to discuss what we feel is an important topic about books and reading and knowledge and our own enrichment as human beings. And to introduce the topic, Mom, why don't you introduce it? And she's a little fired up about this one, so...
I'm a lot fired up
buckle
about
up.
this one. Got an article from the New York Times that, listen, it's the end of our world. It's the end of civilization. It's the end of all things literate. It's the end of thinking human beings. But hey, why get worried?
Today's episode is brought to you by the word hyperbole. Go ahead.
I am for it. Some see a downside to publishers' growing reliance on something they are calling sensitivity readers. Now, sensitivity readers are someone who is hired with money, paid to go through a manuscript and to just kind of, well, bottom line, sanitize it so no one is A, offended, B, upset, C, not a kitten. I don't write kittens. I don't like reading kittens. I don't like reading about kittens. And that's what we're going to get, people. Kitten stories. Because listen to this. Skeptics say the heightened scrutiny discourages authors from writing about cultures other than their own. Why, yes, it would. Resulting in more
Today's episode is brought to you by the word
homogenized literature. Can we no longer read Othello because Shakespeare wasn't black? Question.
Good question.
What do you say?
Well, I think this is a valid concern. I think that my perspective on it is that this whole problem comes up essentially every generation. Issues like this come up with in terms of what type of stories we should be reading, what type of stories we should not be reading, what type of stories and books should we be giving to our children. I think anytime you're dealing with a public school type of setting, you're going to run into issues of this book is being, banned, censored. Censored, is that the word? That's not the word.
Censored.
Censored. Today's episode is brought to you by the word censored.
Homogenized censoring.
So here's my perspective on it. I'm not nearly as worked up about this as my mom is, and I'll tell you why. Some publishers might do this. Some publishers might come up with these sensitivity readers to sanitize, polish, if that's the word that they want to use. I think that it's only going to last so long, and I think there's going to be publishers that won't use sensitivity readers and will just publish what they feel is important or publish what they feel will be bought and sold, and I don't feel like this is the end times because of something like this.
He's totally wrong. He's totally wrong. He's a reader. I'm a writer, and I'm telling you, this is the end of literature as we know it.
No, it's not.
It sure is. Let me just give you an example of what we're talking about. This lady right here, Ayn Rand, has probably been more maligned, and you talk about somebody who just gets under people's skin. It's Ayn Rand, and her books have a definite slant. And if sensitivity readers were called in, quick, get in here, we got something from the Ayn Rand, they're going to savage this. And we will not have an opposing opinion. We will not have an opposing view, a perspective. I am telling you, it's the end. End of us.
I think you're overstating your case. And one of the reasons I say that is because a book like, Ayn Rand is a controversial figure, controversial author. She was when she was writing. This isn't anything new. Ayn Rand was hardly the media's darling or Hollywood's darling when she was writing. Today, more than ever, I think that writers like her, or writers that maybe think outside of the box, will find somebody who are willing to publish them. Now, will it be the major players in the publishing world? Maybe not, but I don't think that matters.
Well, they're in their death throes anyway.
I think those ideas will still get out there. I think when you do have a problem where I would start to get concerned is not when publishers have sensitivity writers. Honestly, I don't really... Readers. Whatever. Well, the writers probably are sensitive too. They're probably the most sensitive of all the people involved. They're probably the most sensitive. If publishers have sensitivity readers, that's one thing. Those are private organizations trying to... What is that to scoff at? I don't know. What do you mean? Oh, to that. That's true. They're trying to respond to their audience. There's going to be plenty of other private groups, private organizations who are going to publish the books that they want to publish and find the audiences that they want to publish. When you start to get into problems is when
Alexander Solzhenitsyn, the Gulag Archipelago.
I need you to say that 3 times fast.
Let me tell you something. You know what came out of Soviet Russia in the way of great literature during the Soviet years? Nothing.
Time out. That is a wholly different situation.
I don't agree.
I think that
we are on the cusp.
Maybe we might be, heading toward a situation that's wrong, and there's lots of, and we don't have enough time to go into all the different areas when it comes to like safe spaces on campuses and stuff. That stuff I find extremely concerning. A college campus is supposed to be this, flourishing of ideas and discussing ideas, and we have these kids who can't handle ideas and ability to talk about them. That scares me. But Soviet Russia was a totalitarian state which had full and total control over what was published, who read what. We are not in that situation.
But we are heading in that direction. Absolutely. Listen to this statement. It's a craft issue. Of course it is. It's not about censorship, says somebody I can't pronounce and don't care to, because it hurts my feelings. A former librarian and writer who's evaluated more than 30 children's books for money as a sensitivity reader this year. We have a lot of people writing cross-culturally, and a lot of people have done it poorly and done damage.
Well,
then you can't write about me. Don't you dare write about me or horses, because I know about horses. And if you write about horses, I will be very upset.
She's very sensitive to people writing about horses. But I don't think, maybe we're heading in that direction. We've probably been heading in that direction for a long time. I don't think the time is now. I think that the internet, I think that the explosion of the information age has had, good things and bad things. But I think for the time being, I think that there is truly a proliferation of ideas. You can find an audience, even with controversial ideas. I think the most important thing with all of this is that we not become so sensitive. And this isn't so much a commentary on what publishers should and shouldn't do. I'm more talking about individually, not so much collectively, but individually. We should never become so afraid of ideas that we personally are unable to expose ourselves to differing and contradicting ideas because of the cognitive dissonance that it might cause, because it makes us uncomfortable. I think that's an individual issue that we need to tackle for ourselves rather than worry about what these publishers are doing. Because honestly, this thing could be a total fad, and give it a year or two and these sensitivity readers might be gone in a couple of years.
We'll see. But I'm telling you, you wait and see. It's going to be kittens and more kittens, but naked kittens, because there's nothing wrong with nudity and erotica.
I personally
erotic kittens.
am very offended by kitten pornography.
Wait and see.
Let's wait and see. Thank you, everybody, for watching this conversation about this very important topic. If you have any thoughts, let us know in the comments. And as always, let us know if there are any topics that you would like to hear us debate about. We are all ears. Thanks for stopping by.